ventilator can be switched between 3 operational modes: ACMV, SIMV, and SPONT. To set the mode of operation, tap the control button. The available operating modes will appear. Select the desired modes and press OK to confirm your selection. The selected mode is then displayed on the mode control button. Sub-mode of operation, VCV and PCV. In ACMV and SIMV modes, the ventilator can work in either of 2 sub-modes: volume control, VCV, and pressure control, PCV. In either case, all breaths delivered to the patient, whether time or patient triggered, are the same. Volume control ventilation, VCV. To set the VCV sub-mode of operation, tap the control button, tap the VCV option, and press OK to confirm your selection. Adjust the VCV value using the plus and minus button. Pressure control ventilation, PCV. To set the PCV sub-mode of operation, tap the control button. Tap the PCV option to select it, and press OK to confirm your selection. The PCV above PEEP control button appears on the parameter screen with its predefined numerical value. Target pressure. To set the target pressure, tap the PCV above PEEP control button. Adjust the PCV value using the plus and minus button. Non-invasive ventilation. Non-invasive positive pressure ventilation, NPPV, is available in all modes. When NPPV is on, a leak compensation up to 30 liters per minute is activated to assist with non-invasive ventilation. To turn NPP ventilation on or off, on the front panel of the ventilator, press the extended button. Tap the NPP button and then tap on the on button to activate NPPV. Press OK to confirm your selection. Inspiratory time or flow. Flow shares a numerical display button with TI. You can switch TI and flow using the TI flow control button on the extended screen. When flow is displayed on the button, TI is displayed on the monitoring display. The TI settings determines the inspiratory time for mandatory breaths, volume or pressure control. The flow setting determines the flow of mandatory volume breaths. Inspiratory time. To set the inspiratory time, tap the TI control button. Adjust the TI values using plus or minus. If the selected TI setting results in an inverse I/E ratio, the system displays an inverse I/E message in the pop-up window. After you receive this warning, you can continue increasing the TI value up to an I/E ratio of 3:1. Flow rate. To set the mandatory flow, tap the flow control button. Adjust the flow value using the plus or minus button. Frequency of breaths, rate. To set the frequency of breaths, tap the rate control button. Adjust the rate value using the plus and minus button. The Flight 60 provides 2 trigger mechanisms, a pressure trigger and a flow trigger. Select the trigger mode through the technical screen by tapping the trigger mode control button and selecting the relevant trigger mode. Pressure trigger level, P-trig. The P-trig setting determines trigger sensitivity in terms of how far the airway's pressure must drop below the set baseline pressure for a patient's spontaneous efforts to be detected. The trig LED indicator illuminates each time the airway pressure reaches the set P-trig level. The blinking P-trig LED is referred to as a patient effort indicator. To set the P-trig value, tap the P-trig button. Adjust the P-trig value using the plus and minus button. Flow trigger level, F-trig. The F-trig settings determines the trigger sensitivity. The flow trigger level is displayed in the F-trig button and can be adjusted. To set the F-trig value, tap the F-trig button and adjust the F-trig value using the plus and minus button. Positive end expiratory pressure, PEEP. The PEEP setting establishes a baseline positive airway pressure in the patient's circuit during the exhalation phase. The set PEEP value is displayed in the PEEP button. To set the PEEP value, tap the PEEP button. Adjust the PEEP value using the plus and minus button. Pressure support ventilation, PSV. PSV functions during patient-triggered spontaneous breaths and SIMV and SPONT modes only. During each spontaneous breath, the ventilator supports the patient by elevating the airway pressure to the PSV above PEEP plus PEEP value. To set the pressure support level, tap the PSV above PEEP control button. Adjust the PSV value using the plus and minus button. Note, the value of PEEP plus PSV above PEEP cannot exceed 60 centimeters of water. Lower and upper pressure limits, low P and high P. The low P and high P values determines the lower and upper limit, respectively, for the pressure of a mandatory breath. To set the low P value, tap the low P control button. Adjust the low P value using the plus and minus button. If the system detects that the pressure does not reach the low P setting for 3 consecutive mandatory breaths, the low pressure alarm is activated. To set the high P value, tap the high P control button. Adjust the high P value using the plus and minus button. If the system detects that the pressure of the mandatory breath exceeds the high P limit, the high pressure alarm is activated and the pressure is relieved to room air. Lower and upper minute volume alarm limits, low MV and high MV. The low MV and high MV values determines the upper and lower alarm limits of a patient minute volume. Low MV. To set the low MV value, tap the low MV control button. Adjust the low MV value using plus and minus button. If the patient's inspiratory or expiratory minute volume drops below the low MV set value, an alarm sounds and a message is displayed. High MV. To set the high MV value, tap the high MV control button. Adjust the high MV value using the plus and minus button. If the patient's inspiratory or expiratory minute volume exceeds the high MV set value, an alarm sound and a message is displayed on the screen.